To sum up, land use planning and zoning, it's about balance, as I mentioned with my justifications for the C variance. You balance the zoning benefits against the zoning harm, the good versus the bad, pros versus cons. It's a very typical decision-making factor that we use, not just in land use planning, but in some everyday decision-making. And I think that this being an inherently beneficial use, the applicant doing everything possible and reasonable to comply with these conditions, with these requirements, to over comply with certain requirements, to agree to certain conditions that have been discussed. I think that what we see here is that the benefits do substantially outweigh the detriments when we're looking at this proposal as a whole. Really, the C variances are essentially some fencing and signage variances. The parking variance we discussed, but it's really all, for the most part, pretty minor variances that we're seeking here. They're more, the signage and the fence related are more design related items than items that would relate to a building size or intensity or massing or anything of that nature. We comply with all of those requirements, which I think is very important because those are the requirements that generally guide how large a development is going to be. So overall, I think what you have here is, once again, it's a property that was given a almost 4-acre lot size. We had to work within the constraints of that lot size. So things have been scaled back, looked at, quantified, and mitigated. And I think what we have here is a sound design. And I think that the D3 conditional use variance can be granted because of that. And I think that the positives of this application as a whole substantially outweigh the detriments. Thank you.
Mr. Ricci, I have a few questions. As part of your testimony, did you have an opportunity to look at other properties in the R15 zone relative to their size?
I did.
And what were your findings regarding the size of the properties that are available in the R15 zone for such a development as this?
I mean, the sizes vary based on what type of school it is. Obviously, the high school being directly across the street is a much larger property. It was 31 acres. I also looked at the Stephen Gerace Elementary School. That was about 14 acres.
Right. So let me ask the question this way. Was there any other available site in the R15 zone that was larger than this one?
No, this was the largest available property in the R15 zone that conditionally permits schools.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have at the moment.